Good. So, Nikki, I'm going to imagine I'm a GP that you're seeing for the first time, and I started my usual way by saying, "Good to meet you. How can I help you?"
Hi, yeah. I've been diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia.
Okay.
Um, it's been about 8 years now, and I've had several surgeries, but I still have severe pain, and it's still, I'm still struggling with it. And
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah. And what are you hoping to get out of this consultation with me today?
well, I want the pain to stop.
Okay. Okay. Would you mind if I started by asking you to tell me a little about yourself?
Sure, um, I used to work in London. I worked for um, a government of racing, and I loved my job. I was really good at it. And then suddenly, when I went home to Wales for Christmas one day, it was like someone put a cattle prod to the side of my head, and this pain started, and it's never gone away since. And I had surgery quite quickly, but I had 6 months off work, and the surgery seemed to work, and then I went back to work, and they made me redundant straight away.
Hmm.
And the pain came back, and I had to leave London and come back home to Wales, and I've been really very disabled with it since then.
Can you give me some examples of the way it's affecting your life at the moment?
Um, it makes it. I mean, I'd never know when my face hurts all the time, but I never know when I'm going to get this massive jab of pain.
Hmm.
Um, it makes it very scary to go out anywhere. And I also get these other attacks which are incapacitating completely, and I just have to stay in bed. Um, and they've happened. They come on very quickly, and like if I go anywhere, they happen, and I get very very vulnerable. I can't go out in the wind or the rain without, covering my face up, and I look really stupid. Um, yeah, it's just really hard. It's just the not knowing, and it's just the pain level is just so bad.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Could you tell me a bit about your household or your family? Who's around you?
Well, I've had to move back to live with my parents because I was struggling on my own, living in London with horses, and it was just easier to, you know, I just needed the help really, and they were thankfully, I'm very lucky that they were there to support me.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I love them dearly, but it's hard as an adult living back with your parents.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. And I'm assuming you've had lots of different treatments, seen lots of different doctors and nurses and clinics and so forth. What has not helped and what has made a difference?
the first surgery helped. I had a microvascular decompression, which seemed to help. But like I said, as soon as I sort of tapered off the drugs I was on and was made redundant, and it all got very stressful, the pain came back, and it's just worse than ever.
Hmm.
I had another same operation, and that just actually made it worse.
Hmm.
The drugs are horrible. They almost disable me more than the pain does. They make it hard to walk and speak, and I just feel they keep putting me on anticonvulsants and they don't work. And now I'm on opioids, and I don't know. I don't know if they work or not, really.
And what are you taking at the moment?
At this point, I'm taking quite high dose opioids. I'm on fentanyl.
Yeah, yeah. And was there anything specific you were hoping I might do?
I just want some help. I
Yeah.
just can't, it's just really hard to live like this, and looking into the future and not seeing any improvement.
Hmm. Hmm. What what form do you think that help might take? I mean, you're a very experienced patient. You've come across a lot of different treatments. You've no doubt heard of other treatments. Are there anything in particular that would appeal to you?
Um, they've sort of been talking about deep brain stimulation or something like that, but um, I don't think it's drugs. I don't think drugs are are the way to go. Um, but also, there's just no real discussion about what might what might, what might have caused this, or,
Mm,
or just sort of strategies of how to just make life a bit better.
yes. Do you have any theory yourself of what might have caused it?
Well, they tell me that there's a blood vessel on
Mm,
the nerve root which is causing the pain, but um, that's supposedly been removed. So
yeah.
I don't know why it would still be hurting, really.
And what would a strategy look like to you? A strategy that made it easier to live alongside it?
Um, it's just it would be nice to have some way of coping, like when the really bad pain happens, like an escape medication, or that maybe not a medication, but something that I could go, look, I have this strategy or this thing or this way of coping, so I could just you know feel a bit freer in living.
Yes. Okay. Um, what's going through my mind is that we might need to meet a few times. I'm sure you weren't expecting that your first visit to a new GP, I would suddenly solve everything.
No.
But what you've told me is really important and interesting. And I'd like to do a bit of thinking about it and maybe a bit of reading and a bit of discussing with colleagues who are experts in this sort of area. And I wonder how it would be if I just did nothing today, but just suggested that you book an appointment in a week's time. You could perhaps do a bit more thinking about strategies that you find are helpful to you, and I could do some thinking as well. And perhaps we could just continue the conversation next week. How would that be?
um, that would be really good, actually, because I mean, this is one of the first times I've actually felt listened to. So
Okay.
that in that's pretty special in itself. So thank you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Is it all right if we wind up there?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much.
I shall stop recording.